You're listening to Weight Loss for Life Coaches, Episode 30, with Master Certified Life and Weight Loss Coach, Paige Bowman.
Welcome to Weight Loss for Life Coaches, the weekly podcast for coaches who are growing their coaching business and on their weight loss journey. Each week, we'll be tackling why weight loss feels hard and how to make hitting your weight loss goal the simplest thing you do all day. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. We are doing another walk and talk podcast, and today we are walking and talking about body love. I'm teaching my clients a workshop on the love paradox. You've probably heard me talk about the love paradox if you've been listening to me for any amount of time. And there is an episode of the podcast, I think it's episode 7, called The Love Paradox, where I talk about the idea of being able to love yourself through working on a goal and using love as a motivator towards your goal. I will probably have taught the class by the time this episode gets released, but I've got love on the brain. So I thought we'd talk about body love on the podcast today. You'd come with me on a walk. I am watching a deer cross my walking path. This happened the last time I recorded on this trail on the podcast, and it just threw me for a loop, but we're just going to keep going. And I hope you're okay with these walking episodes, because I got to tell you, I think they're going to happen more often, but hopefully you can still hear me and it's clear and the sound of nature isn't too disruptive. So, all right, let's talk about body love. And like I said, if you want a more in-depth explanation of the love paradox, go listen to the episode and then come back. Or if you're my client, you'll have the workshop and a workbook that goes along with it. Or if you become my client, you'll have that as a bonus to watch. It'll be a deep dive into the love paradox, and then we'll coach on it specifically as they work towards their goals. But this idea that you love where you're at while you go after your goal, and you let love be the fuel, and you don't make loving yourself a problem as you go towards your goal, has me thinking about the idea then that we have to be practiced at loving things to be living and implementing the love paradox. What we're doing is we're changing our fuel for motivation. So instead of being discontent with where you are or wishing you were different or better off, what we're talking about with the love paradox is, in fact, loving where you are and being okay with where you are and loving how you show up, your thought processes, your body, even if you want to make a change. So to be good at the love paradox, and by good, I mean to be practicing it, to be living that paradox of I love where I'm at and I'm changing, we got to get practiced at loving what is, and therefore loving, right? And so I wanted to direct our focus of loving in today's episode on our body. If you think about it, what better way to practice loving and being good at loving and feeling love than thinking about our bodies right now? Not our bodies when we get to our goal, not our bodies when they change, but our bodies right now. So I wanted to give a little insight on my thoughts about my body and my work, my own personal work on loving my body as it is now, even if I'm making changes. So I think I told you in a couple episodes ago that I've been sick. I got COVID in April, but then I got some kind of bug at the end of June. And I was sick for a solid week. And then the week, and I would say the 2 weeks after that, I had lingering nausea and digestive problems. And I was really fighting off something. There was something off in my body. And it really gave me the opportunity to practice this idea of being okay with what is, even though I knew that it was going to be different. Like, I would stop being sick. I would stop feeling nauseous. But there was a solid time where I wanted to be frustrated at what is. And I just wanted this to hurry up. And I was so done with not being able to eat anything other than cereal and crackers, sometimes oatmeal, sometimes ramen. Seriously, thinking about here's what's funny. Thinking about the word nausea or nauseous made me nauseous. It was weird. But I got the opportunity to coach myself a little bit. If you remember the episode When Life is Hard, I think I titled it When Weight Loss Feels Hard. I'll link it in the show notes though. I talked about this in-between time where something happens in your life and you have lots of thoughts about it and you're anxious or you're upset or you're mad or you're sad. And then there's this period between when that happens and then when you get to the point where you coach yourself on it. But the in-between time, we've got to practice having compassion for ourselves and being there for ourselves. And I got the opportunity to really practice that because I really wanted it to be over, and I was mad at my body and I was frustrated. I didn't understand what was going on. My husband heard all of it. But then I caught myself and I thought, okay, here you go, Paige. Here goes your opportunity to practice what you've been working on, right? Loving your body, loving what is right now. And so I got to thinking about how, yes, I was nauseous, but my body was doing its thing to fight off whatever this was, whether it was a bug or a virus, I'm not sure. And that is what it knew to make sure that happened. Maybe I needed to not eat as much so that my body could heal. Maybe certain things really would set off certain things happening in my body, and that's not what my body needed. Maybe nausea was the best thing for me for those 2 weeks. And so I got to thinking about the way I'm explaining it sounds like a gratitude practice, but it was really not just gratitude, but it was thinking about like, how could this be actually okay? Even if it was uncomfortable and I couldn't really work myself out of feeling that being sick was comfortable, right? I didn't really want to do that work, but I wanted to let go of the frustration and be okay with what is, and then actually love my body for what it was doing and the way it was responding and what was going on inside. And so in its own way, I did this body love exercise for those things in my body that heal things and make me better. And it really helped that last week, because I didn't know how long this was going to last. But that last week felt much better than the first 2 weeks because of my energy about my body and the healing process. And maybe it helped that last week of healing because I was in this loving energy, this loving vibe with my body. So that's an example. That's one example of how I kind of have used this work in real time. Another example of this body love exercise is thinking about my body's capabilities in, for example, taking me on this walk right now, and the ability of my body and my brain and how they're communicating and how I can, take myself on this walk right now. And the work I've done on loving my body has really helped me in this example because of where I'm not capable and I'm not able to do certain things like go on long walks because I have some knee issues, or go on longer hikes because I've had some lower back issues, or do as much strength training. And in the past, I really would have found a lot of my tension going to that discontent feeling and wondering or thinking about how it's not my body's not where it should be, I'm not where I should be, what's going on, what's wrong with me, or really there is something wrong with me. And so I would have spent more time in that place. And so this exercise of just loving what is, even if I'm going to make changes, even if I'm going to heal some of my lower back issues and my knee pain, my thought process when I'm in that body love mindset is, but like, I'm moving, I'm walking today, right? And it does sound like that gratitude practice, but it's this idea of loving what is with my body right now. And in this example, it's movement and it's my body's abilities. And that's been really helpful to apply that work to the way my body moves as another example. But let's also talk about loving our body in other ways, like how it looks. I had a discussion with a client recently about stomach rolls, and you might be thinking that your rolls aren't something to love, right? If you're anything like my client or how I used to think. But who says? Who says that your stomach rolls aren't something to love and be in love with as a part of your body and the shape of your body and what your body looks like? What if you're wrong? What if that's totally something to love about your body, right? Really think about what you've decided is or isn't lovable about your body. And think about, where does that opinion or that ruling, like that judgment, comes from of this is what's lovable and this isn't what's lovable, or this is not lovable about my body. Similar to our discussion on body thoughts, a really good episode to listen to on the same topic of body love and thinking about your thoughts about your body, and the food discussion we had a couple episodes ago, right? We're questioning whether something about your body is lovable and where you get the idea of what's lovable and what isn't lovable about your body, right? Like, the first thing I think of is my thighs. And what's my first thought about my thighs? That I like them, that they're great, they're not, they're too big, they're too small. Whatever that thought might be when you think about your thighs but the question is, where does that answer come from? Who says that they're too big or they're too small, right? Besides you, where does that opinion come from? Is it culture? Is it society? Is it things you've heard from family or friends? Is it your peers and the things they say about sizes of people's thighs? And then questioning, like, what if you're wrong? What if you have the perfect size thighs right here, right now? It's a done deal, right? And then think about, right, questioning where your opinion comes from, and then considering that what the difference in your energy and the way you think about yourself when you're in this place of, oh, it's totally lovable. Every way, shape my body is right now is lovable, is worth my love, and that's the kind of attention I want to give to it. And then think about, how does that change the energy you show up when it comes to how you treat your body, how you treat yourself, when you think about your weight loss journey and how you show up on that journey, when you're thinking, every part of my body is lovable right now. You probably already know what it's like to be with yourself and be on your weight loss journey when you're thinking, my body is not lovable. I don't love it. I dislike it very much. I wish it were different in all these ways. You could probably list to me all the ways you wish it were different. And then think about, how does that affect how you show up on your weight loss journey, right? How does that affect how you think about yourself every time you see yourself in the mirror or you look down, right? So we're questioning this because of how it has you showing up on your journey to hit your weight loss goal. If your brain is feeling argumentative and you're feeling resistant right now, that's okay. I would have been too if you had tried to have this conversation with me just a few years ago. But I've changed my tune, and a big part of why and how I've changed my tune does go back to the love paradox. But I also realize how good it feels to feel love towards myself. Like I was just saying, how good I feel with myself, which I'm with myself all day, every day. And especially with my body when I'm loving on my body. And that for me was reason enough to make this change and then stick with it, right? It's gotten so much hate, and by it, I mean my body, and maybe yours as well. It's gotten so much hate from myself and from others too for so long that I feel like now it's time to put some loving energy towards it for the rest of my life. Like it's gone long enough with me hating on it and with others commenting on it that now it's time for me to give it loving attention, or the kind of attention that I give to my body being loving. So let your brain know it's okay. It's not used to loving something it's disliked for so long. But what if you could change your tune too? What if, like me, you could practice loving as if it were a skill that you could build up and get good at, and then you could be living and implementing the love paradox where you love yourself and you let that be the motivation to change, and you love yourself as you change. Would you be willing to give it a try? The Life Coach School has a podcast called the Life Coach School Podcast. And they have an episode on their podcast called Passing Through Neutral. And I think it's a really powerful stepping stone on this journey to loving your body now. So I would definitely check it out. But it's this idea that instead of trying to go from negative to positive, you pass through neutral first. And this is something I teach my clients. It's this idea that instead of trying to go from hate to love, discontent to satisfied, we go to neutral. And so can you get to a neutral place about your body? And the episode I'm talking about, she uses a particular example. Like I think she talks about your thigh, like thinking about your thigh as a part of your body. Think about the skin. Think about envisioning like all the way to your bone. Think about what the thigh does. And it's this practice of getting to neutral, and then you're opening up your ability to pass through neutral into what we're talking about today, which is love. I would definitely give that episode a listen and start practicing that idea of passing through neutral on your way to getting to love. And lastly, I want you to think about this. What's the downside to loving your body? If you're on your weight loss journey, things are going to change. So why not love the rolls that are there now while they're still here? Why not love that extra skin, right? That extra layer of fat, that extra little bit of cellulite while it's there, because you know it's going to change, right? And on the other hand, just so you know, you might know this, but in case you forgot, some things might not change. I'm down almost 30 pounds now, and I've still got cellulite. I've still got enough of it to last me a lifetime. And I've got areas of my body that are untoned that I could easily look down upon if I haven't been practicing this body love exercise and way of being, that I would just not be feeling good even though I hit my weight loss goal. So think about this practice not just being a practice to do while you're losing weight, but just to do it because you're with your body for the rest of your life. So why not get good at loving what is right now? And then remember, if you can only get to neutral, I would say that's okay too. That's a good stepping stone to this practice. And then when you get good at going to neutral when it comes to your body, then practice loving your body and not just staying at neutral, but going to love and satisfaction and like and joy and content and gratitude as well. And imagine going the rest of your life feeling neutral or positive neutral towards your body, right? Even love, if you can get there, towards your body. Imagine the difference that would make for the rest of your life. Listen, I'm in my mid-30s. I've hated my body for a long time, and I know what that feels like. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm thinking I'm probably not even halfway through with my life yet. And I'm thinking, dang, this is going to feel really good, loving on my body for, another 30 or 40 years. I'm looking forward to that. This excites me. I'm so glad that someone taught me that this was available to me and that I made it an intentional practice to get good at loving my body, to get good at going from negative to neutral and then to positive and then love. All right, that's it for today's Walking Body Love episode of the podcast. I hope you love this one, and I hope that I sold you on practicing this idea of loving your body, not just for your weight loss journey, but for your relationship with yourself and your body for the rest of your life. If you love this episode, leave us a review and rate us on your favorite podcast platform, and share this episode with others who would love to learn how to love their body as well. And if you would love getting help with not only losing weight, but loving your body so that when you get to your weight loss goal, you feel great, not just because you lost weight, but because you love your body and you learned how to love your body along the way, I can help you. Send me a message on Instagram at LifeCoachPageB and let me know you're interested, or you can send me an email at hello@pagewoman.com and let me know you want help with body love and weight loss. All right, y'all, I will see you next week. Bye.